How do you stay motivated when you're not seeing quick results? I'm the kind of person who loves quick results. Instant gratification is the name of the game for me. So understandably, I can get frustrated when I have a long-term project or I have to get started doing something I've never done before, and the gap between where I am right now and where I want to go is very, very, very intimidatingly large. And all I can think about is how much time it's going to take for me to get there and how futile everything I'm doing right now seems to be towards getting me to that ultimate goal. If you've ever felt that way, I've got 5 tips for you on how to keep motivated for those big goals that I know you have and I want you to have, but in the meantime, to keep taking those actions you need to take, even though they're not always the sexiest actions that are going to be leading to big results. First things first, you've got to get clear on what your big why is. What do you desire? What is it that this big goal is going to bring you, and why do you care? If you don't have a compelling reason to get out of bed every morning, you're going to get exhausted really fast and you're not going to have any kind of energy to get out of bed when you don't feel like it. One thing I love to do to help me keep clear and keep my big goal and desire in mind is every single morning I journal about my desires. It's a really fun activity to just sit there and write down all the things you want, all the things you desire. It can feel really egotistical, and that's the entire point. Starting the day focusing on why you're doing what you're doing in the first place is a great way to get yourself excited about all those tasks you have to do for the rest of the day. The second thing you need is a proven game plan. If you're kind of just dabbling in strategies, Instagram one day, webinars the next, list building here, working on courses and services, and you're trying every single aspect of entrepreneurship at the same time, you're going to get really haphazard results to go along with it. My advice here is to figure out what your big goal is, like we discussed in step number 1, and then find someone who has achieved that goal and created a game plan to help you to do the same. There might be free content on YouTube. I love to just kind of go through and find all the videos I can on the topic I'm trying to learn about. This is also a great place where you might want to invest in an e-course or a coach or someone else who can help you achieve the goal. Step number 3 is to practice self-integrity. This is a big old whopping tip that I myself am working on right this minute. Do you do what you say you're gonna do? Do you follow through with the promises you make to yourself? If you're like me and you tend to rebel against your Google Calendar, just know that you're not alone. The problem is that the more that you continue that type of behavior, the less that you're gonna feel like you can depend on your own promises in the future, and that's gonna end up sabotaging your entire business. What I know here is that you've just gotta start really, really small. So for example, one thing that I've had a hard time doing is getting into an exercise routine. I ran a half marathon 2 years ago and just totally stopped exercising 100% altogether. Despite my best efforts, I couldn't seem to get myself motivated to exercise. So what I did was I joined a gym and decided to go to 1 half-an-hour class per week. That's it. Then after 1 month of doing that, I started going to 2 classes or working out 2 times a week, and now I'm up to 3 or 4 times a week. This might be the most important tip that I have because this is where self-worth comes from. I feel so much better about myself every day because I know that I can depend on myself when I make promises. Just make sure to start small. Don't start promising yourself you're gonna do all kinds of things that you know you're not gonna follow through on. Pick one little thing you know you can do, start building the muscle, and then make it bigger and bigger and bigger as you go. Tip number 4 is to have a productivity system or hub in your business. I'm talking about a project management platform. There is a dozen or more pieces of software that you can use for this purpose. We personally use Asana in our business, but there's tons more project management software platforms that you can use for your business, and pick the one that you're going to use. That's the most important thing. Because here's the thing, you are a real business owner. You're not playing around here, and real businesses have project management software, and they follow through on those tasks and make sure to keep track of deadlines. How do you know what to put into your project management software? Well, you're gonna set some goals, and then you wanna break those goals down into itty bitty parts. So each one of those parts is a task that you can accomplish in an hour or 2. And then you've got to set those deadlines and make sure that you actually do the work. You don't have to be perfect about this either. As long as you do about 80% of the work, you're going to start seeing some really excellent results, and you might even hit your goals. And that brings me to tip number 5, which is to measure your input, not your results. This was a huge mindset shift for me when I realized that the reason I wasn't taking action towards my goals is because I was measuring measuring the outcome. So here's an example. I really wanted to get on some more podcasts and to get more exposure for my business. And so I kept thinking, okay, I want to, schedule 10 podcast interviews. The problem there was that it takes a lot of work to schedule even one podcast interview. You've got to pitch the podcast. Well, first you've got to find the podcast, you've got to pitch the podcast, you've got to schedule the interview. And because I was measuring that ultimate result that I wanted and I wasn't making progress towards it, I was totally stuck. So the big shift I made was to start measuring, taking action towards that goal, and knowing that as long as I took the action, the goal was going to happen. This way I can celebrate the work that I'm doing today and not what happens in 3 weeks from now. I hope this video really helped you to stay motivated, taking all those actions that you need to take today, even though you don't really want to, you'd rather watch some Netflix, because you know that they're going to lead you to the goals that you really, really, really want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.